So, hello guys. In this module, we will learn the JavaScript basics. Okay. So let's get started. So, in order to write the JavaScript code, all we have to do is add a script tag. Now, in order to add a script tag, you have to make sure that the script tag should be above the ending of the body tag. Okay, just above the ending of the body tag, because it's necessary to load the particular code in order to make our web page faster. For example, when the web page loads, it will download this code, right? So the first thing we should show is the css, the second is the structure, and then the third will be script, because javascript is used to do more like handling the behavior of the web page, like doing anything, right? And that is the last thing user will do. Hence, we will load it at the end of the web page. Okay. Now this is like internal JavaScript writing script. We can also create something like maybe a folder or script. And oh, first of all, let's let's open this whole docker visual studio code inside our main folder, that is a web page. So that now we are opening only the web page files. Okay, so we have this files, and then we have the images. Let me just write this as a script.js. Okay, now what I will do is that instead of putting it like this, I will get the script from our folder. Okay, and save it. Now let's write our first JavaScript code. Okay, so I will give it simple, like we will just console log something in the browser. Okay, so I will just say hello world and save it. Now let's run this HTML with our web server. Now we are not seeing anything in the front end because JavaScript is mostly like the back end, or it's something like which we can see in the console. So as you can see, even if I reload the page, you can see we are seeing the console called hello world. Okay, that means our JavaScript is working with our web page. Now let's write something to do with the JavaScript. Okay, so what we can do is that we can fetch the details. For example, I will write something called h1 welcome to JS. Okay, I will give it some ID called JS h1. Now let's do something where we will get the value of this h1 tag through the JavaScript. For that, we will write something like, we will first create a variable. Now I will write it as a const. Okay, uh, that is heading. Now we will fetch the details through document dot query selector, and inside this I will put the heading, that is ID, that is JSH1 JSH1. Okay, now we are fetching the value, but let's get it onto the console, and I will just say heading. Okay, now if I see that we are able to fetch the detail of the h1 tag, right? We can see what is the h1, what is the details of the h1 inside our console, the JavaScript. Okay, um, now let's try to change the page content with JavaScript. Okay, so I will keep it as it is, and I will write a button which will have ID that change text. Okay, and I will just write it as a change text. Now next what we will do is that in JavaScript, let me keep this script inside the same page so that we do understand it in a better way, and I don't have to change this So I will remove the source and put the script inside on the HTML only. So you can see we have a h1, we have a button. Okay, I will reload it again. Yeah, we have h1, we have a button to change the text. So first let's create get the value of I will keep it as a heading. Okay, id to be the heading. So let's fetch the heading value. So I will say const heading document dot query selector, and I want it of the heading tag. Okay, I will also get the button. I will say document dot query selector, and I want it of the button. Okay, now we are fetching both the values, both the tags in JavaScript. Now I will use button, and what I want to do is that I want to add something, add a function. So for that I will use add event listener. Okay, and I will call click event listener. Now I will call a function on click what should happen. Okay, so this is the way of calling the function, that we first got the button element inside the JavaScript by assigning it a variable, that is button. Okay, we got it through the document query selector, and now we will run a function. uh, so on click what should happen, so we are calling a function with closing brackets and then putting an arrow, and then this is just a syntax. Okay, so what I want is that I want to change the text of the heading. So I will again, as we have written the variable in heading, I will just pull it heading dot. Now what I want to do is that I want to write change text. Okay, and so what I want to do is that if someone mm, sorry, I mean text content, so whatever the text content of heading is there, I want to change it. So now we can change it to something like new heading. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so what we are doing is that we are changing the text of the heading id with text content, and we are putting some new heading. Okay, I will save it, and now when I click on this, you can see we are seeing some errors. Let's figure it out what error is. But when I click on this, nothing is happening. That means something is wrong with our function. What can be wrong? Let's try to resolve it. Okay. Mm, Uh, Let me try putting the semicolon at the end and see if still seeing the error. Yeah, we're still seeing the error. Hmm, what can be wrong? Okay, so we have a button which is okay. So the problem is that we didn't put the right ID of the button. Okay, so we'll just keep it here. So now we are fetching the proper button with the id change text. We are fetching the heading with id heading. Okay, now it should completely work. Okay, we don't have any error, and when I click on change text, blah, we have successfully changed the text. Okay, that's again I will reload and change the text. It's working properly. It's really good. I'm glad we are solving the errors. So finding the bugs and solving it is the part of the coding. So you don't have to get nervous or feel anything about this. Like we just have to keep calm and find the errors and solve it. Cool. So now let's do something else with the JavaScript. Let's try to add some dark mode. Like, have you seen the websites where we have some light and dark mode, right? So let's see how those things work in a simple way. Okay, so again, what I will do is that I will keep the button, I will keep it as it is. I will just change the id of this, and I will keep it like we can do something with we will call it a toggle. Okay, because we will use the toggle function, so I will just say toggle dark mode. Okay, now we have to change some more content of the site, so I will create a new div and I will call it as a box and class, and I will add some content into it just normal. And let's do one more thing, that let's give it some height to the box. Like height should be 800 pixel and width should be 900 pixel. Okay, and let me give some border to this solid black. Okay, now let's write the script for this. Okay, to change the background of our box. For now it is white, and right now nothing really happening. So let's write the code in the JavaScript. So first again we will get our button with name. Again I will say toggle btn. Okay, now I will write document query selector, and I will get the button with id toggle, and I will get the div box. Okay, and I will again get it from the class box. Okay, we got both the HTML tags, toggle button and box. Now what I will do is that again we will write event listener. So with the this button, okay, toggle button. So I will say toggle button, which we got through the query selector in the variable called toggle button. Okay, add event listener, and inside this on click I want to run a function that is so what I want to do is that let me write a css again, that if let's write a css for dark. Okay, and what we will do is that background color will be black and text color will be white. So what we will do is that we will add the class name to this box, to this div on the click, and we will use the toggle, so we don't have to write anything if else statements. We will just do it with the toggle that is new in JavaScript. And for example what will happen I will tell you. So let me write the code first. So to the box I want to add a class list with toggle dark. That means if someone clicks on the toggle button, first it will add the dark class name to this, and if the second time they click on it, it will get removed. Again third time if they click on it, it will get added. So for example I'll reload this and click on this. You can see the color of the div called box div got changed to dark, because you can see the class got added called dark, and then we are adding those values. We are changing the background color and the text color in. And if I again click on it, you can see the dark class name got removed and hence the values. Cool, pretty good. Okay, so we can do much more things with it. Let's try to do let's try to change the content of the button, but in this case we will increase the numbers uh, of whatever number of times we press on that button. Okay, so I will keep it like a count button. Okay, keep the class name as a count button, and I will just write it down as clicked 0 times. Cool, just that's it. Okay, again we are fetching this inside this count button, and I will call it count button only. Okay, and now what I want to do is that we are fetching this button into the JavaScript. Now let's again write a function. So for the count button I want to add event listener, and on click I want to run this function. Okay, and in this function I want to Let me write a variable called let count 0, and inside this I want to increase the count plus plus. So every time someone clicks, it should increase the value of it. And I want to also change this value. So whatever times they change it, I want to put it inside this text. And for that, what I will do is that to the count button I will add a text content, and it will get, now it will be dynamic. Okay, let's put it dynamic. In order to do that, we'll put a backtick and double backticks, and inside the backtick I want to put it like clicked. Now we're keep fetching this value dynamically. In order to do that, we'll put a dollar sign. Inside the dollar sign we'll put it inside the brackets, and I will just put it as a count. Okay, and I will write it as a count clicked times. So initially it will be 0. So if someone clicks on it, it will get 1. So it will then it will get updated inside our text of the button. Okay, I will save it and let's see if it's working or not. All right, so it's working. You can see it's getting changed every time we click on it, right? So yeah. Mm, Now let's do one last thing with JavaScript that which might be useful in the real life scenario for FAQs. Okay, so let's quickly write down the FAQ code for us. Okay, so I will again remove this code, and first I will write a div with class FAQ. Okay, and inside this FAQ we will have a h2 which will have question, that's what is JavaScript. Okay, and we will have a paragraph where we can make JavaScript makes web pages interactive. Okay, this is our FAQ. We have a question and we have an answer. Okay, now I will give class to the question. This is a question and this will be a answer. Okay, now mm, I want, so whenever someone clicks on this, okay, I want the this answer to, first it should be hidden, and when someone clicks on it, it should be visible. Again, if someone clicks on it, it should be hidden. Okay, for that let's write some css, like I want answer to be displayed none, like let's make it invisible. Okay, it's there inside our code, but for now it's invisible with our display css. Okay, now if someone, so I want to show it, so again to the answer, if someone we will add a class again. So uh, to show I will just say display block. Okay, now in our script again let's fetch the both question and answer quickly. That question const question will be document dot query selector. Again this is a class, so dot, and I will quickly put as answer, and now let's write a function that if someone clicks on question, on click run this function, that is toggle. Again we will use the toggle function where we will add the class of this show to this answer. Okay, so answer dot class list dot toggle and show. Okay, now let's see if it's working. And well, so I would like to put something to the question. If you see my mouse, currently it's just I'm able to read like something like this, but if I say cursor and I want to keep it a pointer, now you can see if I hover on this text, it will show something else as a mouse. Okay, like it's clickable. So if I click on this, you can see our code is working. We are able to now display and hide. That's how FAQs work basically, right? We can have multiple FAQs and then we can put arrow icon, and if someone clicks on it, we can keep the arrow icon like below and above, like we can change the shape of it, right, for the FAQs. So that was it for the JavaScript. I wanted to keep it simple because I don't want to go into the advanced level of it. I want to keep it basic JavaScript. Okay. Now in next module we will see more things, and we will now go through the WordPress. We will see how we can install the WordPress locally and also on the server, and then we will be able to build our web pages with the WordPress. Cool. See you in the next module. Thank you.